Here's the thing. I actually became a billionaire at 20. It wasn't due to crypto or anything else like that. It was because I decided to run a business. So for you, some of you guys who don't know my story, it's a bit of a complicated one. I didn't get rich off crypto. I didn't get rich off trading. What I actually focused on was my marketing agency. So as you guys understand, the economy is just pure online, and obviously I just thought this would be a bit of a paradox of a place to be in, because obviously it's hey, 20-year-old billionaire or 21-year-old billionaire now in the middle of a bit of a forest area in the middle of Australia. So just to uncover a bit on myself. So I ended up making my marketing agency over 6 figures a year, all at the age of 20. I ended up completely changing my life from being in debt, broke, not the most ideal situation, but obviously due to my background, I had a bit more of an idea of what I was doing, and pretty much just moved forward from there. It's a bit of as I said, it's a bit of a story. So the thing is, all I did was just work. So I've had months and periods of my life where I've decided to work. And also there's my keys because I don't have any pockets at the moment to get to where I'm at. It wasn't just overnight thing. It was just basically years after years after years after years. So I've literally been playing at this game since I was about 14. Literally as soon as 2020, I was still in school. We all know what happened. We all know what that then led us to do. So I was during legal, and then I actually uncovered this, and then I was like, this is an absolute gold mine. So imagine getting people's attention to actually trade for, obviously, let's just say the product or the service, or because I like to target more of the high ticket clients, which obviously are the best ones to deal with, because then if you deal with some low ticket, there's normally a whole bunch of dramas, because generally from what I found from high ticket clients, pay minimal complaints. Obviously, you understand what I'm saying. They are the dream, they are the best people to work with, obviously. And I know you guys watching it are obviously I know you guys are between 25 to 30, and you guys are just I just want to change my life, and obviously this is how you do it, and are those sorts of people who'll just end up just basically going okay, cool, I want to work with this sort of business owner, this is who we're sort of targeting at, and then this is how much they want to pay me. Because I used to think low ticket was the way out, because then you can just automate systems. Well, I was wrong. So let me just continue the story. So back in 2020, I was scrolling through TikTok, found out the guy who everyone knows and loves called Iman Ghazi. And he literally just got me onto the social media train, because I was like, this is new. I never even realized, because obviously parents working a job, I didn't even realize that you could make money online. I just thought, hey, got to get a good job, get a good education, because back then I was wanting to be either a doctor or a lawyer, or I was even thinking about literally somehow trying to get both to work, because I just got that much of a workflow, and I'm just like, why not? Why not just be legally as well as medicine smart? But I realized that was just a mistake anyway, because then I'm like, these are people on the internet who have no degrees, who work jobs originally, or some of them didn't even work jobs and just went straight to, they literally just went straight to working in their online business, like what I've done today. And obviously, as you can see, the beautiful background of Australia. But getting back to the story, so I was just like, how can they do this? I've been told you need to get a 9 to 5, work for someone the rest of your life, and basically, have absolutely no control. Literally, live happy, own nothing. And you all think that's a bit of a blessing, but it really isn't. It's really just a curse, because you're better off, the more and more assets you have control of, the more and more stuff you have control of, you're better off having that than having no control over anything and just being told what to do by certain people. You understand what I'm saying? There's no point. But anyway, moving on. And obviously he was doing marketing. I actually found him through a paid ad, and I was just looking through his webinar, and I'm like, he charges $5,000 up front for one of his packages. And I'm like, cool. How do these people charge $5,000 up front for something that's online, something that's not real. And obviously I was just like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because I was learning all about it. And I'm like, then I found this other guy called Jason Capital who sold his words for like 10 grand per transaction, like per sale. So I think he wrote for him for about 3 to 6 months, and that was 10,000 cash collected. I'm like, huh? That's actually real. And yeah, then I'm like, okay, cool. Then I just started doing that. Obviously, I did try the low ticket end because of where I come from is from a bit of a small country town in Queensland. You might have heard the place, Bundaberg, where high ticket isn't really the most optimal sort of thing to do, because if you guys realize, like, obviously there's going to be like a lot of people don't have a lot of spending power. There's not too much. Like, whenever money tightens here. So I'm like, let me try and charge them $200 a week. Let me try and charge them $100 a month, whatever. And I'm like, I was getting nowhere with that, because I also found that middle point of where no one actually found that important enough. It's like, hey, I'm paying you $100 a week. There's no risk on my end. Obviously the $100, but I'd much rather spend that $100 on, let's just say, making my taxes are correct, or, all of that sort of like mumbo jumbo. And I'm just like, well, I'm in a bit of an awkward area. So then I wanted to do sales, high ticket sales. So I wanted to be a real estate agent. Wasn't the right move for me, because the guy who I was going to work for, he just said, hey, you're more built like a trader, so you're better off learning day trading and better off understanding the financial markets. Did decent at that, minus off blowing a whole portfolio. Did decent, learned a lot, and actually learned a lot about risk management and psychology and all this other, essentially trade IQ. And all that stuff became very, very important for later on, as well as when it comes to marketing. So then after that, I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just got unlucky, whatever. And I just thought, let's just take a few steps back. Then after that, I just started working a job, working for a consultant, learned the ins and outs of business. Obviously, probably the best idea before you start one, or if you work with one, probably the best ideas before you do anything, just because it gives you that one-on-one framework. They understand your problem, they understand your situation. Obviously, they understand you obviously are in a certain position, want you to move forward, and obviously that's why I have my one-on-one coaching to get you to 10K a month, where it's all just individualized for you, instead of just following some, copy and paste model. It's more so individualized towards your strengths and weaknesses, where you can end up running your own marketing agency, making 10K a month. So that's where I can help you out. And then I was doing also low ticket sales. And then I thought, hey, I got way too much time. Those times when you got stressed and anxious, where you're just like, I need to work something out. I need to figure something. Like, you feel like you're running so far behind. Obviously, I joined a whole bunch of education programs, learned a lot from them, started social media again, didn't have the best lot. Again, then I tried e-com, drop shipping, crypto. We all know about what happened in my crypto story. For any of you guys who haven't seen that, just watch my story, because then you're going to actually be able to understand what happened. But pretty much, I learned from crypto the hard way, but also it did teach me a lot about how people react, how people are motivated, and also made my marketing stronger, because I've already had and then this goes on to the next part. I had my first reset from crypto. Then I had another shot of crypto, had another reset, borrowed money out again to go and get it forward. This first lot was 30K, second lot was 20K. I'm like, okay, cool. I've got an infinite amount of tickets. Why not? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? So I did that. Then after that, let me just move back. Before that time, I was working with a lot of clients. So I was working in the disability space, for anyone who knows what that is about. So I was working in the disability space, taught me people management and many other important business skills. Because once you can learn how to influence someone, let's just say someone, not a lot. Some of the clients were very adamant about certain things, and once you learn how to make it seem like it's their idea, and it just made everything a whole lot easier. So I was doing that, learned a lot about people management, sales, and marketing to an extent, because marketing is sales on that like forefront. It gets, it targets at more people than just the one. That's like one of my biggest problems with sales. Then from there, did that, quit that after a while, wasn't the right suit for me, and I just kept on working because I'm like, what else am I going to do? I still need to figure out a way to get out. Then from there, I ended up working it out, ended up basically, joined another coach, basically learned it, and pretty much became a billionaire. Well, at least in the mindset. So that's the most important part. Like, you cannot become a billionaire if you don't think like one. Obviously, I'm just going to claim I'm worth $1 billion, because mentally I am. And what I have installed in my mind from the amount of education and from the amount of learning, which like a lot of people haven't even gone through. Like, the life experience I have is just absurd for my age, in my opinion. Like, I don't know too many other 21-year-olds like me. And obviously, if you guys want to learn from someone who makes over 6 figures a year, click the link below in the description, book in a call, and obviously I can work with you one-on-one on a custom game plan to help you scale your marketing agency to 10K a month. So let's go. Okay, next part. So the part after that, I didn't really know what else to do. And I'm like, obviously, because you guys understand, I love content, I love marketing, I love copy, I love sales. So I was thinking, cool, why don't I then just do sales? So I did sales for an e-commerce business over in the US. Terrible business I did it for, but learnt a lot. Started cold calling, learned all the skills from that. Never got paid, but it happens. Never got paid for anyone who closed, but it happens. And obviously and then I'm like, okay, cool. Sales isn't the best business for me, because it's more so, it's not really my most ideal. Obviously, I do like the one-on-one talks, and I do like the one-on-one interactions. There was just something that never properly sat right with me with sales. Obviously, I love sales, but it's like, why not market when you can do sales? Marketing makes more sense for me logically anyway, because it's like, for this video, I'm talking to maybe 20, 30 of you guys, maybe a few hundred, maybe 1,200, whatever. I talk to you guys, I help you out, I share stories, and you guys can relate. Then just sales, I just get basically start cold calling and, But when it came to actually doing it for myself, I had a whole different mindset to it, because it's like, I'm doing it for something that I actually care about. I'm trying to get that business to be leveled up. And that was the only thing I cared about. Obviously, I got a few more coaches and mentors through that time, but obviously who taught me sales. Like, I've got like some which are just worth, like, I can't even put the amount of money on some of the stuff that I've been taught by them. Then to the next part. This is the part that I was telling you guys about earlier. So then I decided to hire another coach, and then obviously I learned a lot from him. And then what I took from him shifted me completely. And then literally over the span of about 3 months, I just started dialing. Started locking with content. I got banned on Instagram, whatever, good fun. The joys of what it is when you're dealing with social media. So I did that, did well. Obviously I started cold calling because I had a completely different perspective. And obviously it did show me a few little cheats and a few other stuff, which obviously you guys will get to learn about, which just makes you just be like, what have I been doing for the last few years? So I did that, learned that from him, and ended up scaling my business to 6 figures a year, which is like, I mean, in consideration as a 21-year-old now, it's kind of like, well, where's everyone else at? I feel like I'm kind of just lost here, which is obviously why I want to show you guys what to do, so then we can have like a whole clan of people like just scaling and running marketing agencies, just making it as successful as possible, maximizing ads, maximizing content, maximizing every little part that you need to maximize. So then both you and me can just end up just absolutely just like winning in that marketing space. Also, I forgot to mention, the reason why I love marketing is because obviously you talk to multiple different people and you're better off doing one lot of energy to talk to multiple. But also it's because you learn so much about psychology, you learn so much about influence, you learn so much about people. Obviously in sales, you do that too, but marketing, you have to be more and more particular with that. And pretty much since I've either basically paid for the coaches and basically been working with them, or I have just basically paid for the coach, took the mindset, took the training, and I'm just like, my life has changed again. Like, that's what mentally got me to be a billionaire again. So that's more so what I was just saying. Like, I'm on my way to become a billionaire. I know I'm going to be a billionaire one day. If not, I'm going to be a trillionaire. Watch out, Elon. But yeah, like, it all just makes sense. And obviously marketing and sales, once you control customer acquisition, then you control the whole entire world. Then you control who comes in, who comes out. Actually, hold on, give me a second. Who comes in, who comes out. Who else can you control? Like, there's so much elements where you pretty much never need to worry about cash ever again, because then you can just be like, okay, cool. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to supply it. And then this will be our select way moving forward and end up solving our problem. So yeah, as I said, like, I cannot stop talking about marketing. Marketing is by far the best skill to learn. If you never want to be poor again, learn marketing. If you want to get out of debt, learn marketing. If you want to learn how to use your voice, learn how to sell, learn how to persuade, learn marketing. If you want to learn how to print money, learn marketing. If you want to learn how to scale a business, learn marketing. Marketing is almost the perfect answer to anything that you do, because you can't get customers without showing people what you do. You can't get people to actually move forward without marketing. Obviously you need sales, but no one knows who you are. Every business has a marketing problem, if that makes sense. And that's why I've been telling you guys since the beginning, marketing is always the way. The more and more marketing that you do, the better and better off you get with your business. You're better off marketing it as much as humanly possible, because then obviously that can solve all your bottlenecks. That can solve a lot of your problems and make your life like a ton easier. And obviously that's why I more than religiously promote this. Obviously, for any of you guys who want help and obviously want me to scale with you to 10K a month, one-on-one, where I get to basically help you start up your marketing agency to help make your first 10K, click the link in the description, book in a call, and we can work together one-on-one and end up scaling your marketing agency all the way up to 10K a month. So yeah, marketing is just, I cannot stop talking about how ridiculous marketing is. Marketing can be diabolical sometimes, depending on what you guys want to do with it. So yeah, and also, hold up, give me a second. For you guys, hold up, give me a second. Also for you guys who want to watch the next video, click the video on the screen over here. 21-year-old scaling a marketing business to £100,000 a month. So give that a watch. See a bit of like a day in my life, what's going on, like how I had my Australia Day. So yeah, give that a watch. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. But you really do need to give that a watch. All right, bye.